All right, guys, I'm out in front of one of our rental properties. This is a single family house. This is what you would call kind of a nice neighborhood. Unfortunately, I'm here because, well, it just got raided. Stick around, I'm gonna take you around this property and into this property after a police raid just occurred. So this is a really nice single family house. We actually bought this property at foreclosure auction not that long ago. It came with a tenant. So we actually bought this thing I believe out of foreclosure. It actually had a tenant in it. We worked with the tenant and continued renting with them. And that went on for about a year or so. We finally decided, you know what, we want to sell this property, especially as the market went up in value. And the tenant was, well outside of their lease agreement. So they're on a month-to-month basis. Well, we contacted them and said, hey, we're going to be selling the property. You're on a month-to-month basis. We're going to be looking to sell it vacant. So it is going to be time for you to move. At the end of the month, we're going to send you a vacate notice that'll give you formally 30 days, but I'm letting you know today. So you have about a 60-day notice, really. And, he was a little bit concerned. He wasn't ready to move and he didn't have a place lined up. And I said, well, you got 2 months to start looking. And if you need a little bit more time, we're not going to be huge jerks about it, but you got to work with us. In the meantime, if we got to get in there to make some repairs, do some showings, we're going to need you to cooperate. And so he was fine with all that. He even asked a bizarre question like, do I need to keep paying? And we said, yeah, if you live there, you got to be paying to live there. So that was fine. That was October. He was supposed to move basically, I think, around November, sometime, either beginning or end of November. I don't recall. He didn't. He also didn't pay. So he has been continuing to occupy this property for several months now without vacating, as we need him to do so we could sell it, but also without paying, as we need him to do so we can afford the upkeep on it, afford the mortgage, the taxes, which always go up, the water and sewer, the landscaping, you name it. In the world of real estate, all sorts of crazy things happen, and today was no exception. We got a call from the local police who had conducted a raid on the property and made an arrest. They didn't exactly tell me what it was, but I had a sneaking suspicion that of course it was going to be drug related, and naturally that's what happened. I got to the property just a little while ago. I spoke with the officers that had responded and had a conversation with them, and well, we're going to go in and I'm going to show you what I see walking into this property. So here we are at the front door. You can see they had broken the handle here and kicked in or punched in with the battering ram the door here. So obviously the door's trashed. We're gonna have to replace it. Not a big deal. I get that. You can see the trim got all broken, all the latches for the deadbolt and everything completely smashed out. So we'll have to do some repair work here. They of course conducted their raid and their search, and this is what we find upon walking into this property. Good God, I don't know how much of this is honestly how the tenant lived, or how much of this is from the actual raid itself and them doing a search of the property. But yeesh, not great at all. Good times. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that does come with working with rental property, especially in some really challenging states. This stuff does kind of come up and happen. This is interesting. I don't know, but yeah, wow. This is a really nice little house too. I think this is going to be a great sale. Somebody that's going to buy this is probably going to be a new or small family, and it's really unfortunate, especially in again a struggling city, but a nice neighborhood in a very questionable city, and it's really unfortunate that somebody would choose to live like this. But this stuff does happen, and if you're in a world of real estate, this is the kind of thing that you're going to be seeing and dealing with on occasion, especially as you have more and more rentals. So we like to show you the ins and outs and the real aspect of real estate, and this is definitely no exception to that. Not my first rodeo in terms of having to respond to police coming out and raiding one of our properties, where a local citizen had decided to take some inappropriate steps with their time. They got the search warrant right here up on the fridge. So this is what we're working with now. So what you might be wondering is, hey, looks like, you guys were evicting the guy, right? He wasn't paying, and that's exactly right. He wasn't paying. He didn't move after he was supposed to. And we were starting an eviction process, or we had started an eviction process. But like it says, it's not an overnight thing. An eviction is a process. It can take a significant amount of time to make happen, and that's exactly how this goes. So it would have taken us several months to get in front of a judge from day one to the end of the process, to get in front of a judge to get a non-paying tenant out, or even just a regular tenant that you had told to move that didn't have a lease. You gave them more than enough notice and they still refuse to do the right thing and vacate. They can force you to go through a very expensive, with legal fees and court fees, eviction process. Wow, what a mess. I'm sure some of this is the way they lived. Some of it is from the police doing their raid. So the good thing is here, I might be able to make something happen with this. The occupant still lives here. So again, he was arrested, but it doesn't mean I can just take this stuff and throw it all out. In fact, it doesn't mean that at all. If he gets out of jail on Monday, and with this kind of state and the kind of law enforcement situation that we have here, that's entirely possible that this guy's back on the streets next week. I can't throw this place. I can't empty this place out. I can't paint it, clean it up, and move in. I can't re-rent it. In fact, he's still my tenant until a judge, a housing court judge, finalizes and says, yeah, you can evict him. And then at that point, you can have a sheriff go through and do a full eviction. What I'm really hoping is that, he'll realize his situation. I'll be able to send a sheriff to go talk to him in whatever jail he's locked up in. And then from there, get him to understand, listen, this situation is going to play out, but we're willing to make it a little bit easier on you if you just, turn in possession, sign off on possession now by agreement instead of forcing us to go through and finish an eviction process, because now you'll have an eviction on your record, assuming you need to look for housing and you're not getting state-provided housing. State-provided housing, that's prison. Assuming he doesn't have to spend the next few years in jail, he's going to probably be looking at a place to live again, and he's not going to have an easy time doing that with now a conviction on his record or something, but also with a judgment for a recent eviction on his record. We can spare him that, maybe just waive off the money he owes just to end this so we can get to work getting this place back to producing again. In our case, we're looking to sell the property, so we're going to be looking to get this place cleaned up, touched up, fixed up, painted up, replace some fixtures, whatever we might need to do. Took down smoke detectors. That's the least of the issues that he did here. And get this place back on track so we can put it on the market to sell. That's ultimately the goal. This is going to sell very, very quickly. We would have sold it 3 times by now had the tenant done the right thing and moved. I'd given him heads up notice before we sent him a 30-day vacate notice, but we gave him a proper 30-day notice as well. So he had about 2 months to start relocating. Instead, he chose to stay here, not move, not pay, and then get busted for some kind of a drug issue, weapons issues. So yeah, interesting choices people make. But yeah, and of course, this is the household that had kids coming and going, which is very, very sad. Always sad to see that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, I see this kind of stuff far too often, where kids end up being involved in the life. Look at all this laundry. Involved in the lives of people that choose to take part in some really, really unfortunate activities. We're going to be getting to work on reaching out to the guy, finding where he's jailed at, and reaching out to him, giving him an opportunity to sign something, basically just says, listen, I give up my rights to the property. You don't need to evict me. I'm out. You can throw away anything that anything left of the property I don't consider of value. We could always make an arrangement with a friend or a relative of his to come through, collect any stuff that he does want to keep or salvage or personal items, whatever. And then we'll just dispose of everything. Just go. Best kind of win scenario you can get out of these kind of days. When you have really, really unfortunate and lopsided laws working against property owners, this is very often what you might end up finding is people take full advantage of that. So if you're working on getting into the world of real estate, learn from our struggles, learn from our mistakes that we've made over the years, and help use those things to your advantage to help yourself avoid some struggle and your path towards financial freedom. What a disaster. I mean, we got a lot of cleaning up to do here, but we got to get possession first. I can't come through and empty this place out and get it all fixed up and get it working again until either the tenant says he agrees that he's gone or a judge pushes that all the way through, and that could be months for that to happen. And I have to spend a lot of money to get that stage into effect. I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, guys, I hope you've been able to find some value in this and share this channel around a little bit to anybody that that's interested in getting into the world of real estate. Learn before you leap, but don't forget, you got to make a move happen at some point. So leap. Just learn a little bit with us as we continue to show you around the real aspect of the world of real estate. Gotta love it. All right, guys. Looks like we got our work cut out for us. We got a couple of strategic moves to make happen. Thanks so much for being on our channel. If you like this, you'll like some of our other videos. So please take a moment while you're on our channel here on YouTube and watch some of our other content. We got a couple of great videos that you don't want to miss out. Take care.